Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. And now to some of the pictures you sent to our Eyewitness portal. Let's begin with this image of a burning corn oil filling station in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Our Eyewitness reporter said that the cause of the fire is unknown. Few vehicles were present at the time. And still in Abuja is this photo of a waste heap around Gwagwalada local government area. Our Eyewitness reporter claims that improper refuse disposal has become the norm in the area and wants steps taken to curb it. We'll move on to Niger State with this photo of a bad Kontagora Zuru road. Our Eyewitness reporter says it's a federal road and wants the federal government to fix it. We end with this picture from Ogun State showing a gridlock in Ijuota Bridge along Onibuku axis. Our Eyewitness reporter alleges that the traffic was caused by an accident which occurred in the area. We do sincerely thank you for sending in those pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons has appealed to social media experts to help them spread the message of the dangers of human trafficking in Nigeria. The Director General of the agency, Mrs. Julie Oko-Donley, says that their participation in the anti-human trafficking campaign will go a long way in tackling the trend as currently experienced.
For the past few months, the nation has seen the return of Nigerian migrants, especially from the Mediterranean countries, with Libya being a major transit. While some are making their ways back to the country, many others have ended as victims of human traffickers and several others dead in the sea. Officials of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and social media experts are here, meeting to sensitize Nigerians on the evil associated with human trafficking using the social media.
We are taking over the internet space, and that's why put all of you here. And that is what all of you here are to do for us, for Nigeria and for Nigerians, not just for NAPTIP. This is not about NAPTIP. This is about Nigerians and Nigerians. And for your information, by the grace of God, very soon, human trafficking as a curriculum will be infused into the primary and secondary school curriculum. So that from primary school, secondary school, they will learn about it. And it's a process now. We are hoping that the next academic session, it will be fully on board.
There was room for questions and answers.
We all knew that most people that are coming from southern part of the country, they are coming to Zamfara State. From there, they are taking up to Niger Republic, because that's the access going to Libya. But there is no any presence of NAPTIP there, which is we need NAPTIP to do something there.
The NAPTIP boss then responds, reeling out statistics of rescue efforts made.
Talking about prosecution, we've prosecuted thousands of traffickers, and from inception to date, we've been able to convict 335. We've gotten 335 convictions. We still have over 100 cases going on in court as we speak, and more to come. If you have information, as long as you know there is a NAPTIP somewhere, even if that NAPTIP is in Abuja, all you need to do is a phone call. That's all.
This is the first time the agency will be meeting with social media influencers to drive home its sensitization on human trafficking. And many of the participants are hopeful that this will go a long way in preventing citizens from falling prey to human traffickers.
Question?
The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, who is also the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, has been speaking on the recent approval by the state governors for the withdrawal of $1 billion from the access crude account to fight Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast. Governor Shettima describes the Boko Haram insurgency, herdsmen, farmers conflict and other related crimes ravaging the region as a direct consequence of deep-seated poverty and mass unemployment among the youth. He says if nothing is done urgently, it could lead to total anarchy in the whole country. He says the release of $1 billion from the access crude account to fight insurgency in the northeast is timely and will go a long way in restoring peace to the troubled region. He was speaking during the celebration to mark the 100 years of Kaduna State as the capital of northern Nigeria.
The the most honorable of intentions. It's a consent given by the Nigeria Governors Forum for the federal government to utilize the $1 billion from the excess crude oil to bring about expedited end to the Boko Haram insurgency. And this is not the first time. It was done when PDP was in power, and they didn't reach any political motive to that. But this time around, the only difference is that those funds will not be diverted into political causes, but will be used for the good of the Nigerian armed forces.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is warning marketers across the country to stop all acts that may heighten supply gaps noticeable in a few remaining parts of the country. A statement from the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division of the Corporation, Ndu Uhumadu, says that security agencies have been detailed to trail marketers suspected of hoarding products. The warning comes as the NNPC's monitoring team sets up to close the remaining supply gaps discovered that over 140 trucks remain unstreamed by some marketers in Kano, even as records shows that the trucks have been commissioned to their designated locations. Of the discovered trucks, 26 were scheduled for Katsina, while 118 were meant for Kano and its environs. In the meantime, barring any intervention from relevant authorities, the fuel scarcity being experienced in parts of the country may assume an alarming dimension by next week. This is because the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, has resolved to embark on an indefinite strike beginning from Monday, December the 18th. Well, this follows the expiration of an ultimatum earlier issued by the oil workers to the federal government to address issues they consider detrimental to the welfare of their members. In a statement, PENGASSN had declared, quote, "The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government, which will culminate in the shutting down of all oil and gas installations, including disruption of oil supply and fuel supply, as well as distribution across the country, effectively from Monday, December the 18th, 2017, end of quote. Part of the group's grievances includes alleged anti-labor practices against some of its members by some indigenous oil companies, mass sack of workers by one of the oil companies over involvement in union activities, and non-remittance of workers' taxes to the PFAs by the same company. PENGASSN spokesman Fortune Obi confirmed the strike, saying that the decision follows the failure of the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachukwu, to resolve the dispute. Residents of coastal regions in Edo State, particularly those from the Ijaw community, are making a claim of being marginalized by the Bini people. The aggrieved Ijaws are alleging that they are being considered as subordinates to the Benin monarch, while they have their own kingdom. In our next report, we'll take a look at the simmering tension between the Ijaw and Bini tribes in Edo State.
The journey by boat is typical of the topography of the area. Winding rivers lend to use of boats for the Ijaw communities that live along the coastlines of Bayelsa, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Edo State. The Komu Kingdom is a community of 15 Ijaw towns in Edo State. The people make their living by the waters, fishing, and farming. But underlying this serenity is deep-seated anger that could erupt into a crisis any time. The Ijaw community in Ovia South local government area of Edo State claims it's being marginalized by the Bini and the Edo State government. They allege they are not considered as indigents, but settlers who have to pay allegiance to the Bini monarch. The president of the Ijaw Youth Council also alleges an alleged plot to use the military against the various communities.
Only this afternoon, while we are on our way from Benin to this place, we got a message. Perfected plans to send military people, combine military people to Ijaw communities, starting from Gelegele and the palace, the Egbesu Shrine in Okikoro. We want to advise that if they do that, it will be a declaration of war against the Ijaw nation. They should not take the Ijaw nation silent for weakness. The Ijaw nation has a capacity to defend their people anywhere in Nigeria.
For the secretary to the Benin Traditional Council, the land on which the Ijaw communities reside belongs to the Benin Kingdom. Therefore, all inhabitants therein are subject to the Benin monarch.
They must recognize the authority of the Oba of Benin. We have a Niger in Benin Kingdom. If they want somebody that will be their immediate head, then they should say so. The Oba of Benin can create one for them. But for them to come up and say that they are the owner of the land of Ya, part of Benin Kingdom, even when the Portuguese recognize that that part of planet Earth belongs to the Oba of Benin, then somebody is now coming to claim that he's the owner of the land.
Disputes relating to land dating back generations can become a powder keg if not handled properly. The concerned authorities in Edo State may have to step in urgently and resolve the matter before it becomes too late.
When the News at 10 returns, investors await Africa's first green bond launch on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That's on Business News. Join us again.